There is a push among inhumane bad actors to censor the Constitution, hide the Declaration of Independence, and militarize our police in checkpoints, occupy our cities, kill our journalists like Gary Webb, Aaron Swartz, and Michael Hastings, frame-ups and redistricting to promote Project Esther and the Heritage Foundation's insidious final plan for 2025. We see invented fools who cover for predator networks of the ruling class and intelligence agencies who starve us out of our own communities. Dirty money and magic bank accounts work to create secret police federal agencies to crush anti-war and anti-genocide protesters and make sure those who buy elections get the only vote. Cloaking secret armies, domestic death squads, and private security intrusions under the farce of the war on terror invented by the very stock short sellers in place to profit while buildings are still burning. We must look at the values of the Israel lobby, their actions, and a pattern of seeking to end constitutional protections of free speech. We must remove the ADL, AIPAC, and all lesser-known cabals of anti-constitutional threats to the Bill of Rights in tech, media, and DC. There's a wellspring of attention in challenging the bullshit Piro and PragerU slime and Zio Snoids who want us to look past the death of PBS while dancing under altars of Moloch to Miriam Adelson's ghoulish agenda like the Romance of a People, 1933. Free speech, right to assemble and to bear arms, a free press, to not be tortured or have your home invaded by violence of the state seem to be rapidly fading since NDAA 2012. COVID and lesser-known runner bills pushed while we are distracted. In the eyes of the billionaire predator class, we are all Palestinian now. There is an open policy of lawfare to harass Israeli critics into silence. Our society has chafed under the steady tiptoe of authoritarian impulses by corrupt financial ghouls who feed off the blood of future generations, who sign bombs, wish death on women and children, chase down fathers trying to make themselves small as they are hunted and murdered by snipers, panty sniffers, telegram snuff enablers, and the rabid Likud monsters who can't contain their glee at cruelty and suffering. And assets of a foreign government are always seeking to bleed taxpayers dry for an eternal dirty war, benefiting the Israel lobby. The graves of slaves paved over by Wall Street, London bankers, and the grotesque rabbis who promote child abuse and recreational rape. Organ harvest has become less profitable to 8,200, Mossad and Shin Bet, than turning Palestinian children into economic incentives to burn bombs on the neck of every American who dies slowly as a wage slave under inflation's daily toil. We have seen war-for-profit lobbyists openly talk about false flags to start the Iran war. Their leader lie about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, turn Syria into an abyss of mass murder and torture. Not even madmen like Hitler and bin Laden had such a vile plan to turn dying children into profit. Like a tapeworm or parasitic insect, Netanyahu and his millions of domestic intelligence assets feed on murder like a tick hiding under the skin. Foreign assets invest billions of our money into surveilling and censoring Americans in our own country. Their spies work in our tech sector, profit from injustice, rigged elections, sleazy hedge funds buying up homes to spread homelessness, train our police in rancid torture tactics, organ harvest and anti-Bill of Rights ideology, filter our celebrities and politicians through secret societies and VIP pedophile parties. This evil Talmudic ideologues dominate our media in monopolies, placing their newly arrived agents in cushy jobs at the cost of those who worked decades to be denied corporate jobs over their lack of racist pedigree, nepotism, and an invisible glass ceiling wall off the American dream. Their political dirty money networks. A vast conspiracy to subvert our press and condemn our democracy. We must reread the Declaration of Independence, Federalist Papers, Constitution, and contrast these values to pushes for ending free speech under the ever-evolving grift of anti-Semitism. We have to see that the ideology of killing children, raping Palestinians, and seizing land for militarism are unethical and odious to the Constitution. The fascist insect is promoting campaigns of collective punishment, funding terror armies to deny statehood and the radical and hateful ideology of the worst settlers. Their henchmen in both parties work to spread endless war, injustice, and exploitation, creating an artificial moneyed class to manage the lesser beings they call cattle, in whispers among the embezzlers and corporate thieves. Talmudic law of Israel has become so flagrantly evil that this underlying theme of class and caste systems have infected our government and media to such a level, we must rush to reverse this un-American and toxic secret policy. Pro-Israel networks have become a threat that seeks to end life as we know it under crushing surveillance, censorship, torture, assassination, and secret police. We must hold war profiteers accountable and undo the villainous grip of foreign spies who hide behind Wall Street, political donations, and faulty intelligence. The criminals involved in 9/11 in think tanks were never punished. They profited from the millions dead in a vast trail of blood and burned bodies across the Mideast. We must remember the Founding Fathers wanted regular revolution to stop our government from becoming unwilling to renounce power when the oligarchy becomes threatening. Before we end up in a doomsday scenario warned of by Eisenhower about the military-industrial complex seeking to burn the world for a predatory economy, pushing the world into hot and cold wars that starve out those not ruled by Rothschild banking or those who can still drink water without paying Nestle. John F. Kennedy warned about secret oaths and loyalties, about lobbyists working to cover their machinations without registering their foreign agency. First step is removing the nebulous control of our money, ending the Federal Reserve and associated banks, jailing those who prey on the weak and expect bailouts, ending the medical profiteers, insurance gangsters, and pharma cartels who push off sickness with no fear of reprisals, no matter how many are poisoned or maimed by their drugs. Only a powerful change of course can steer us back from the looming threat of more Israel wars and the lead up to World War III. There is a hope for a new age of ethical government, direct democracy, and rescuing our republic before our babies are sent off to die for the millionaire lifestyles of ghoulish Nosferatu who prey on the taxes because during famine and plague, we will need repayment of all stolen and embezzled aid to a ruling class with no sense of shame, honor, duty, or decency. As we challenge the party line, or group think as Orwell called it, of our occupied media, run the banks and Wall Street into the ground, crush the ruling class and its endless thirst for militarism and injustice to benefit thieves, we must embed these words into our souls, the devotion to the Constitution and Bill of Rights that we are sworn to challenge lawmakers to uphold. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. Powerful words that meant much more when the government feared the people. It is time to feed the tree of liberty the blood of tyrants. As the death of all life on Earth through nuclear arms, biological weapons, and invented plagues seems so close, the Founding Fathers warned of those who ask us to trade liberty for security and the boot of tyranny. The oath to defend the Constitution from all enemies foreign and domestic was sworn to all of us when we still remembered who burned down the White House and ended our tax-free status in 1913. Remember the saying, only the dead have seen the end of war, and the final note. War is when the government tells you who to hate. Revolution is when you decide for yourself. We must see now that both parties are so hopelessly enslaved to the most vast and ancient conspiracy, that there is no hope for any other outcome when our own government is seeking to occupy our cities under guise of immigration. It's a certainty that once masked Stasi can disappear, any body that the right to freedom and humanity will be gone forever. If we do not intercede, paperwork checks under threat of attack, dogs will be the end of inalienable rights we allowed to be taken by bought-off puppets working for the Epstein class and its parasitic lobbyists from their ivory towers, golf courses, and gated communities. If this sounded like a call to arms against Jews or Christian Zionists, it's not. It's a challenge to walk back from the precipice of treason for the hunger of the political beasts that you can find outlined behind the mark of the beast in Revelations or the warnings of Founding Fathers against the threat of central bankers. The Jewish anti-Zionists, believe it or not, have been some of the earliest and loudest, giving us warnings of the death of democracy under a creeping curse that moves ever closer as your media belief has strangled you while sleeping.